The first canon female Belmont protagonist. That's a mouthful. What I just described to you is none other than Sonia Belmont, the revealed protagonist of the upcoming new Castlevania game, Belmont's Curse. Very interesting, by the way, that it is titled that, taking place right after Dracula's Curse, Castlevania 3. There seems to be some heat about the fact that this new Belmont is Sonia. Why? Because Sonia was actually the protagonist of the 1997 game, Castlevania Legends. The thing about that game is that it is not canon. And why is this? Because in it, Sonia has a kid with Alucard. And that kid is Trevor. That's really all I need to say about that. If you do not know this about me, Alucard is mine, and mine only. Anyway, that aside, Legends was the final Game Boy installment of the Castlevania franchise, and the last that was released in 8-bit. This game basically was intended to be the first in the Castlevania timeline, introducing the conflict between the Belmonts and Dracula. Sonia was the first Belmont. When this timeline was published, it was retconned and was replaced later by the 2003 game Lament of Innocence, in which the Leon Belmont we all know and love was the first to exist. He was best friends with Matthias Kronqvist, Matthias lost his first wife, Matthias used Leon and became Dracula. It's a long story that I could very well do an entire video on in itself. Back to the history of Sonia. In Castlevania Legends, Sonia grew up in Transylvania as opposed to France, where Leon's canon bloodline originated. France being the origin was mentioned in Netflix's animated series, which is not canon but makes reasonable sense. Leon was a crusader, and the Crusaders originated primarily from France. In addition to this, Legends takes place in 1450, while Lament of Innocence takes place way further back in 1094. Sonia grew up with some special powers and was under the care of her grandfather, who possessed a magical whip and trained her. How convenient. One night, when Sonia was 17, she met Alucard and fell in love with him. Okay, not immediately, but I understand where she is coming from. She met Alucard and, according to the wiki, formed a bond with him. Alucard was still the son of Dracula, as he is in the canon lore. For whatever reason, he decided to turn away from his father and be a good boy. This motivation is unclear, since in Legends, Dracula simply makes a pact with an evil deity to become immortal and take over the world. Very basic villain arc. There is no dead Elizabetha or dead Lisa, both of which the canon Dracula has as motivators. Notice how similar the Wise's names are, by the way. One night, Sonia's home was attacked by night creatures, and her grandfather died. He passed his whip on to Sonia, and she began her journey to avenge him. Alucard ran into Sonia, and decided to seal himself away so that he would not see his father die. It seems that Alucard is full of angst in every timeline. I love him. I'd give him a hug. He needs it in any universe. Anyway. Then, Sonia gives birth to Trevor. After defeating Dracula, of course. This makes her the unofficial first defeater of Dracula. Unofficial because, again, not canon. The actual first Belmont to defeat Dracula is Trevor, because despite Leon being the first Belmont, he never actually kills him. He just swears that the Belmont family will hunt the night, but poor Leon, I guess, did not do a very good job. Speaking of Trevor, let's talk a little bit about the canon lore of Castlevania and how Sonia ties into it, now that we have her unofficial backstory out of the way. Trevor Belmont is the protagonist of Castlevania 3, Dracula's Curse. In it, he teams up with Sypha Belnatis, Grant Dynasty, and Alucard. Alucard does not look as glamorous yet, unfortunately, but we can pretend he does. At least the show did something right in making him look like his Ayami Kojima design from Symphony of the Night. Oh, sorry. Am I talking about Alucard again? Trevor teams up with these guys and later finds out that one of the guys is actually a girl, Sypha. After they defeat Dracula, Grant goes off to be cleanup crew across Wallachia, Alucard sends himself into his depression nap, and Trevor and Sypha go on to, extend the Belmont bloodline. This all took place in 1476. After this game is Curse of Darkness in 1479, which is a wonderful addition to the franchise featuring my boy, Hector. You should play this game. Hector is awesome. I do have to give credit to the show for introducing me to him. However, Hector is not a Belmont, so he is not relevant to this video. After Trevor, the next known Belmont is Christopher, whose game takes place in 1576. He appears in Castlevania The Adventure. Oh, look at that. His game takes place exactly 100 years after Trevor's. This is because Dracula rises once every century. Christopher is generally considered to be canon because he just fits in nicely. The fact that the protagonist of the new game is a revamped version of Sonia seems perfectly fine to me. Why make a new Belmont when you have somebody who was kicked out of the canon because she hooked up with Alucard? This would have made the Belmonts like 1/4 vampire, which is something you can go to Lords of Shadow for if you are interested. I absolutely love that series, by the way. It has its hate, but it is wonderful if you go into it knowing it is also in an alternate universe. But I digress. Wow, I have a lot to say about Castlevania. Belmont's Curse will be taking place in 1499, 23 years after Trevor defeated Dracula. Which then begs the question, will Dracula be coming back somehow? Also, it being called Belmont's Curse is interesting. Simon Belmont has a curse dealt onto him, but that is nearly 200 years in the future. What will this curse be? The game will also be taking place in Paris, which is cool that they are going back to the Belmont roots. Even though it may be unlikely, I'm hoping that Alucard will have some sort of appearance. Maybe his slumber is delayed. Maybe he wakes up for a second to get a midnight snack and then discovers there are more shenanigans going on. Who knows? Regardless, I am very excited for this new installment in the Castlevania franchise. I never thought I would live to see the day, to be honest. It looks like it plays a lot like Bloodstained Ritual of the Night, which I absolutely loved. But in reality, it is made by Evil Empire, who did Dead Cells, so it has a lot of that style too. I also do not mind this. Plus, Dead Cells did have a Castlevania DLC, so this is pretty fitting. In terms of other character appearances, the trailer looks as if it could be depicting Trevor and Sypha. Grant is also alive. Hector and Julia are also alive. There's so much potential for past game homage, and I really hope they take advantage of it. And to all the people who are saying stuff like, she's going from Trevor's mother to his daughter, and it can't be Sonia because she's his ancestor, and all that. There is one easy answer, and it is literally just the fact that Sonia's game is not canon. So anything that happened in Castlevania Legends didn't actually happen. It is really that simple. So, everyone sit tight, let them do their thing, and let's all wait excitedly for the fact that Sonia will be dealt justice in the new Belmont's Curse game. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for more.